Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Kayla and I maintain this backyard garden here in North Texas. It's currently mid-October, which means it's time for another garden tour. So I'll go over what's doing well, what maybe isn't doing well, and what I might change for next year. So stick around and I'll show you through the garden. We'll start over here on the east side of the garden. So in this large green pot, I have some pink and white dianthus and also a white stock flower. I've not been great at keeping flowers alive in the past. I also don't think I put enough in this pot, so they might be getting a little waterlogged, but I'm gonna keep an eye on them. They're still alive for now, so that's at least a good sign. In the raised bed, I have the tangerine crossvine that I planted when I redid the garden beds. Crossvine is a Texas native plant. It's a perennial, so these will hopefully be alive for many, many years to come. They've started to gradually make their way up onto the fence, so I'm excited about that, but I think they're done flowering for the season, and they'll probably start to lose their flowers and turn a deeper shade of green or purple pretty soon. While we're here, I want to talk about a new addition to the garden that I'm so thrilled with. We had these bistro lights strung all along our fence. These were installed by a company called Blingle, and I could not be more happy with them. I turned them on just to show y'all, but I'll add some clips in the evening as well because they just make the garden feel so magical. They're custom fit to our fence, which looks so much better than the flimsy Christmas lights we've had up before, and they come on automatically when the sun goes down and stay on for as long as we want. Even in complete darkness, they give off enough light for me to do things around the garden, which I absolutely love. I'll leave a link to Blingle in the description if you're interested in adding some custom lighting to your yard. Alright, back to the tour. In front of the crossvine, still in the raised bed, I have 3 nasturtiums. I really love nasturtiums, but I've never been able to successfully grow them, so the fact that these are still alive gives me a lot of hope. The 2 on the outside are variegated, the one in the middle is not. I forget the specific varieties, but I'll put them on the screen. And then in the small gray pot, I have the eucalyptus that I planted recently. I see new growth on that, and they're supposed to be fast growing, so I feel good about that. I think I'm gonna need to bring it inside for the winter, but for right now, it's still warm enough that it can stay there. Right here, I have the fig tree that I just added to the garden. This is the Little Miss Figgy Fig variety. It's looking great. I did forget that I didn't hook it up to my drip irrigation, so it didn't get water for a little bit, so it was a little bit sad for a little while, but I think it's doing good now. Here in these 2 pots on the right side, I have the Mad Hatter pepper that I planted back in the spring. It's still hanging in there. I haven't gotten around to replacing it, and I do see some new growth on it, so I'm gonna leave it in for now, especially because my other Mad Hatter is starting to produce peppers, so I'm gonna see if this one can come back to life a little bit. And then on the left side here, if you remember, I did have a chrysanthemum in this pot, and I killed it because I didn't realize that my sprinklers were getting into this little part of the garden, so it was getting a lot more water than it needed, and it kind of just died. So I've replaced that with some straw flowers. Those are the yellow flowers, and then this orange one is I believe it's a Cassandra flower, or no, Crossandra. I'll look it up. I forget exactly, but it looks really neat. The little green parts almost look like wheat, but it has really pretty flowers, and this is kind of my favorite color of flower to have in the garden, so those are in there now, and those are doing great. If you watched my last video, then you know in these 4 grow bags I've got my garlic. I've got at least 1 hardneck variety and 2 softneck varieties. The last one that I planted is maybe a question mark, so we're gonna see what it does and figure it out later when they come up. Now in this bed, I made a little bit of a mistake. So I forgot how quickly or how soon in the season the sun starts shifting. So this bed really doesn't get much sun at all. As you can see, it's completely shaded at the moment. So I forgot that what I really need to do is get something on the trellis earlier in the season so that it's up on the trellis and still getting sun even at this point in the season. So I think I'm going to peas or beans on that side next time, or maybe some squash, just something that can climb up and still get that sun. But everything in here is still doing okay. So I've got a marigold on this far end, a bunch of different types of kale in the center there. I have a couple of broccoli that I started from seed, and then those 4 little grouped together same looking plants, those are all pak choi. And then I have a broccoli on the far end. In this pot here, I have some more stock flowers. Those are the pink and white ones. And then the plants that just have little buds on them, those are zinnias. So those should be blooming pretty soon. In this bed, I have a lot of different things going on, so I'm going to start on this left side of the bed. In the front 2 rows, those are all snapdragons, different kinds of snapdragons. The ones here and here, those are the ones I started from seed, and then the ones that are more established are the ones that I transplanted. The purple flowers behind that are a scabiosa, and then behind that is a cheddar cauliflower. And then I also have some, what are they? Are they sugar snap peas? I think they're sugar snap peas, climbing up the trellis. Over on this side, I have a couple of really small baby bok choy that are just starting to come up. And behind that, I have a Romanesco cauliflower on the right side and just a regular cauliflower on the left side. There's also a little small nasturtium on the right side of the Romanesco cauliflower. And then the yellow flowers are, what are they? Calendula. They're the calendula I got from HEB. I've got another yellow marigold behind that, and then some kale near the trellis. And then I also have a bunch of really tiny flower seedlings, and I did the classic home gardener thing of not marking what seeds I planted. So I know what varieties they are. I don't know which ones are which variety, so those will be a little bit of a surprise. This is my other Mad Hatter pepper. This is also one that I've had throughout the spring and summer. It's significantly larger than the other one. It's like a little mini tree, but it's actually starting to put on a ton of peppers, so I'm really excited about that. These marigolds have really exploded the last couple months. The yellow ones are the lemon gem variety, and then the ones behind that are a French marigold. These are one of my favorite flowers in the garden, so I'm thrilled to just have so many of them. And these are half of my fall tomatoes, so all the ones in this bed are the ones that I got from Bobby's Best Starts here in Dallas. So in the front left, I've got the speckled Roman. The middle front, I've got the Juliet, and then the front right is the chocolate cherry. And then, like I mentioned, I lost the lemon boy tomato while I was on vacation, but I've still got the super sweet 100 in the back. So these are doing great. Really happy with how these did while I was gone, and they're just putting on a ton of growth. They're taller than me at this point. In this pot up here, I have my serrano pepper, which is also still hanging on from the spring. Again, I'm just seeing what these do throughout the fall because I don't have anything to replace them with, but I have seen new growth on this one as well. And then behind that, I have another explosion of French marigolds. And I don't know if you can really see it, but I did plant one extra cauliflower that I had right there in the middle. It's not getting a ton of sun, so it's still pretty small, but it's still there. Over here behind my tomatoes, I have a small rosemary plant in this white pot. And then to the left behind that, I have a kale. And then this is my round of hungry pepper that's had a lot of new peppers recently, and some of them are ripe, so I actually need to pick some, but that's still hanging in there as well. This is my pequeño pepper, which is looking very cute. It's got just like a really cute growth habit, like a little tiny tree. But it does have some peppers on it and a lot of flowers, so I think that one's going to produce a lot pretty soon. And then to the right of that, I just have a small marigold. Okay, now we can talk about these pumpkins. So if you look at just these pumpkins, they're doing great. If you look slightly to the right, you can see I have something that has eaten a couple of them. I'm guessing it's a squirrel. I really don't know. I've never had a problem with squirrels before, but my mom has a lot of problems with squirrels, so that's my best guess for like what could have climbed the trellis to eat the pumpkins. So I'm probably gonna harvest the ones that are even remotely close to being ready, just so they don't get eaten. You know, these are supposed to be decorative anyways, so it's not like they need to be fully ripe. So I'm probably gonna harvest those right after I finish filming this. But yeah, at least 3 pumpkins have big bite marks taken out of them. Other than that, I've kind of let them go. They definitely have some squash vine borer damage, so I don't expect those to live much longer anyways. So I'm just gonna take what I can get and probably get them out of the garden pretty soon. Over on this side, none of my daisy gourds have gotten eaten yet, so that's really great. I also haven't noticed any squash vine borer damage, so I don't know if these are just resistant to squash vine borers or if they're just more interested in the pumpkins. I don't really know. So I might grow these next year and not grow pumpkins. Alright, on the back side of the bed with the eggplant in it, I have my 2 habanada peppers that are still looking good, and then I have 2 really small baby bok choys. Again, not seeing a lot of sun on this back side of the bed, so I don't know if those are going to stay alive, but I'm going to keep them in for now and just see how they do. And then I can't really zoom back any further or get the whole tomatoes in frame, but back here I have the jelly bean tomato on the right, and then on the left is a separate tomato, which is the Golden Jubilee. So these are the ones that I started from seed. They're both doing really great. They're getting pretty tall at this point. So I'm probably going to have to top some of these pretty soon so that they start putting more energy into producing fruit, but yeah, these are doing great. I've still got this Black Beauty eggplant in the front of the bed. It's got a few eggplants on it and more on the way, so I'm glad I didn't take the whole thing out. Those eggplants are looking really, really good, and yeah, I'm really glad I kept it in. Behind it, I've got a Sunrise Bumblebee tomato on the right side, and then you can't see it, but it's in a little cage. On the left side is the Sun Gold tomato. So Sun Gold tomatoes do really, really well here in Texas, and I've gotten a ton of tomatoes from it already, so really happy with everything in this bed. Up here in the front of the bed on the left side, I have a purple cauliflower. I think the variety is Graffiti. And then to the right of that, I just have one of the cauliflowers that I started from seed. I think that's the Snowball X variety. And then in this pot in the front on the left side, I've got another cauliflower. And then my 2 pequeño peppers are in the green pot on the right. My lemon tree in the gray pot and my blackberry in the terracotta pot are still looking fantastic. The lemons put on a bunch of new growth, and I've still got that one little lemon hanging in there. So I'm hoping that's going to ripen, but we'll see. In this back corner, the sweet potato vine is still looking fantastic. I was a little concerned about it earlier in the summer. I didn't think it was gonna make it, but it's just putting on a ton of growth. I need to figure out how to direct it further up the fence or something like that, because it's kind of spilling out everywhere. And then here in the herb bed, I've got a speedy rosemary in the back left. That's the big one, and then a hardy rosemary in the front of that. So 2 different kinds of rosemary there. The big tall looking herb is garlic chives that came back, so those look really good. And then the thyme that I've had in there for forever. And then on this right side, I have a small dill and tarragon that you saw me plant recently, and another nasturtium that is probably looking the best of all my nasturtiums so far. So I just think they're so cute, and they're edible, so bonus. That is everything in my garden in October. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.